of Secretary of Treasury Hank Paulson and working with the distinguished minority leader in recognizing that we were a part of trying to make certain that the American people knew that we weren't able to do everything that we wanted to do, but we did not ignore our obligations to come together with some type of a compromise. And I think it was historic as we expanded to reach people who would have been ignored had it not been for changes that were made in how we get the money to people. So I want to thank the leadership of the House, but make it abundantly clear that all of us thought at the time that we agreed to this agreement that the Senate was prepared to accept our agreement without change. It's my understanding now, as we talk, that the Senate Finance Committee is marking up their own stimulus package, and I assume that it will not deviate substantially from what the leadership of this House has done. But I do hope that it's made abundantly clear that the House has done its responsibility, and that if there's anything that impedes the Senate from complying to the mandate that the President has set on our Congress, that they too have an obligation to make the type of compromises that's necessary so that we can move forward. I also would like to add that sometimes it's very difficult in being chairman of a committee that not only do we have partisan differences, but we have differences among my own party. And while we are reaching out to provide assistance to people who are suffering economically, I cannot hope but remind myself that these people were not selected out of any compassion of wanting to helping the poor and those in need. Indeed, the main reason that these people are targeted is because economists, conservative or liberal, agree that the assistance that we're giving has to be timely, fast, has to be targeted, people that are going to have to spend the money, and has to be temporary so that we don't do severe additional damage to the deficit. I submit to you, Mr. Speaker, that we're talking about the heart of America, hardworking middle-class people that are now being targeted because they can't afford to take care of their families. Yes, they have to spend the money to put food on the table, put shoes on their kids' feet, put clothing on their back, to pay for shelter. And I submit that we shouldn't walk away from this House because we're given economic assistance, proud of the fact that millions of people in this country find themselves in that predicament. And for that, the Congress cannot be charged. And I do hope after we finish going through this bipartisan effort, which we have to do, that we might find some way to tell these people that we're going to provide relief without considering a stimulus, but we're going to provide relief because it's the right thing to do. And no man and woman in this country that works hard every day should have to be stigmatized that they can't afford to provide a different type of lifestyle for their family because they can't meet their obligations. And so I hope in the way we, in a bipartisan way, have cooperated with this administration, that they recognize that the tax code, which is tilted toward the wealthy and therefore supposed to create the jobs and the wealth for the middle class, it didn't work this time. And maybe we can think in terms of how we can bring more equity to the monies that are available, the disposable income, to those people who work hard every day and not have to target them because of their inability to meet their needs. but to know that we did what we should have done, and that's to provide them with the dignity and the means to continue to contribute toward the economy of this great nation of ours. And so at this time, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to reserve the balance of my time and thank you for the privilege of recognizing me.
Gentlemen, reserve.